And we're back at Toledo Speedway for the running of the RC Cola 200 for the Hooters Cup late models from Toledo Speedway in Toledo, Ohio. Field under caution. A blown engine on Jerry Cook's number 13 car. And while we were under caution, the driver that is second in the point standings and the winner last night at Columbus Motor Speedway, Dick Anderson, was in the pits. Let's go down to Fred Pump on pit road with a report.
Well, I moved down to the pit of Bobby Gill. Bobby's lost some few positions out on the racetrack. I'm with Tim Thornton, Bobby Gill's crew chief. Tim, Bobby just taking it easy out there?
Yeah, this is a long race, and Bobby's a patient driver. You know, he's not going to use his car up in the early part. He's going to ride, and you know, we're more concerned with the last 50 laps than we are the first 150. We just want to have a good car at the end, so just taking good care of the car right now.
In the early going, has Bobby commented any on the track conditions out there?
No, everything seems to be okay, no problems. Just like I say, we're riding around right now. Just going to take it easy to the end of the race.
Well, Bobby Gill going to take it easy and wait for that last 50-lap dash to the finish.
And that's the word on Bobby Gill as he dropped back a little early, started second, now back running in the fourth position as we go back to green flag action. Fred Berry leading the field in car number 11. Fred Campbell, car number 70, in that second spot. Mike Garvey, the Hooters Cup point leader, right behind the two Iceman Series drivers in the third spot in car number 91, the RC Cola Giraffe Chevrolet Monte Carlo. There you see the top three drivers. Mario Gosselin running fourth in car number 10, the Budweiser Chevrolet, and then fifth will be Bobby Gill in car number 71. Mark Bishardi, during that caution flag period, we saw Dick Anderson, who started 12th. He had dropped back into the 15th spot. He made a pit stop, took on two right side tires, and he's way at the back of the pack. Now we've got trouble up in turn number 4.
It's David Elliott that spun up in turn 4.
David Elliott, a Hooters Formula Cup driver, but no stranger to the stock cars.
No, he likes racing the ARCA series too, so that is a big jump from one type of car to the other. Dickie Anderson had to be praying for this type of caution to come out because he was just about to get lapped by the leaders. He was late coming out of the pits, and it was at the tail end of the field, only about a quarter of a straightaway in front of the leaders.
And when you give Dick Anderson a break, you can look for some exciting things, because if he's got that car set up right, apparently he did not like the setup on the car. He came in, took on two right side tires, and we'll try to get Brian Drebber of Fred Pump down in the Anderson pit to give us an update on that, as once again the field is under caution. David Elliott out of Lilburn, Georgia, spinning car number 27, the Papa John's Beach. That's the team car. That's the car that Mark Green drove last night at Columbus Motor Speedway. So not only is David Elliott jumping into a different type of car, but a car that he's unfamiliar with.
Yes, it is, and you got to respect the guy for trying to make this type of field. These guys are the best there is in the eastern part of the United States, and he made the field.
And we've got a replay of the spin of David Elliott up in turn number 4, so let's take a look and see what happened. And it looked like nobody really got into him, just got into the third turn a little bit hot, slid the car up on the high side in turn 4, and everybody doing a good job staying down to the inside to avoid that. And there you can see actually backs it up the banking, and one driver goes to the high side, and it looked like there might have been some contact there.
It might have been, but that's the part of the racetrack that the drivers have all been talking about. It's a racetrack where the bump upsets the car, so maybe that bump did upset him.
And we'll be going back to green flag action in one more lap. Your race leader is car number 11, Dennis Berry in the second spot. Fred Campbell in the 70 car. In third spot, Mike Garvey in car number 91. Mario Gosselin running fourth in car number 10. Fifth spot belongs to Bobby Gill in car number 71. So that's your top 5 with 20, looks like 30 laps in the books, 29 laps in the books. So we'll be going to complete lap number 30 as they come down to take Tony Boswell's green flag. And Dennis Berry opens up about a car length lead on Fred Campbell in car number 70. As that's the action up at the front of the field. And we're going to be kind of watching out of the corner of our eye for Dick Anderson, the 92 car. Started scratch on this restart. He's got a long way to go to come through these 35 cars, as we have had one car that blew the engine, the 13 car, Jerry Cook. So he has gone to the pit area. Al Schill has been in and out of the pit several times in the 14 car. He's back out on the speedway as the leaders shoot down the front straightaway. And this looks like one fast racetrack, Mark Bishardi. You gave a comparison maybe to New Smyrna Speedway, where we opened the season back in February, but this is a lightning fast facility.
Well, the drivers told me it was going to be real quick, that horsepower was going to be a big thing here. Plus, you were going to have good shocks with the way the track upsets the car. I don't think we're going to see much change up front. Back through the field is where you're going to see all the shuffling. The guys up front are going to kind of play their cards out later. They're going to be patient right now.
As we watch the action on the field, we want to welcome up here in the booth a driver with many, many years experience here at Toledo Speedway, a 6-time champion, and we're talking about Joy Fair. Joy, we're glad you could join us up here, and tell us a little bit about some of the idiosyncrasies of Toledo Speedway. What are some of the trouble spots out here?
Well, entering turn 3, there's quite a bump at the bottom, which when you try to pass under, you just have to drive over it. And then everybody does tuning with the shock absorber in the left front to get over that bump.
And that's one of the things that a lot of the drivers were talking about, is how to negotiate that bump. And some of these drivers have run at New Smyrna Speedway. And as Mark was saying at the top of the show, they have pretty much the same kind of bump there. And a lot of them are using the same setup. As this race goes along, what kind of things should we look for? What will the groove change at all in the Speedway?
If anything, the bottom doesn't change, but there is a groove develops on the second groove very good later in the race, where they can pass very easily on the top.
And that's one thing that we'll look for, as the groove moves up on the Speedway. And we'll be talking with Joy Fair as the race unfolds. There you see Dick Anderson in car number 92 as he tries to work his way up through the field. And it looks like he's picked off about 8 or 9 cars. But Mark Bishardi, the leaders are within about a straightaway of Dick Anderson, so he's going to have to get in a hurry.
He's having to work around these cars. It's not like he's passing slow back markers. These are good cars all the way through the field. So it's taken some work for him to get through these so-called back markers.
And there you see Dick Anderson working with Larry Raines in car number 37. A couple of veterans working there as they're right behind the 116 car of Gary McCoy. And right behind Dick Anderson, it looks like that's the 1 car of Bob Blount, as Raines will go to the outside of McCoy and Anderson. They look like they rubbed a little bit coming off of turn 2, so Anderson giving a little bit of room there.
I'm not sure that Dickie is still up to what he should be, because Larry Raines seems to pull away from him. The only thing that's holding him up is Gary McCoy.
It looks like Anderson wants to run the low groove on the Speedway. It looks like the car might be pushing a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely having trouble, because as quick as that Dodge usually is, he should be going quicker to the front. But like we alluded to earlier, there's some fast cars in this race.
One thing that surprised me is I know that Dick Anderson had the Dodge Avenger in the trailer, and he chose to go with the Daytona today. And I thought maybe we'd see the Daytona last night at Columbus and maybe see the Avenger today, but he decided to stick with Old Reliable.
Well, he fooled everybody. He told everybody he had the Avenger with him last night, when actually he had both Daytonas with him. He carries 2 Daytonas, or a Daytona and an Avenger. He brought both Daytonas, and he brought the second car out here today, so we'll just have to wait and see.
There you see Mike Garvey leading the Hooters Cup point standings. And he has Mario Gosselin breathing right down his tailpipe as they race off the 4th turn in heavy lap traffic. And it looks like that Garvey and Gosselin have lost a little bit of ground to the leaders of Dennis Berry and Fred Campbell.
They have a little bit, but lap traffic, the leaders caught the traffic at the right spot. It seemed like Mike Garvey and Mario caught it in the turn. So it's going to take a while to get around some of these lap cars.
Joy Fair, this racetrack, and being a half mile and as fast as it is it hard to make up ground here, or can you make up ground here in a long distance race?
No, you can just concentrate. I used to just concentrate on qualifying, do the fastest I could to make up when you get a clear track. And yes, you can make up ground.
And the way to go with lap traffic is to the outside at this racetrack. It looks like most of the leaders been going up there.
Right. The slower cars just tend to run the lower groove, and you just must be able, like when I practiced here, I would always practice and pick some fast guy and attempt to pass him on the outside, because that's what you have to do during the race.
And there you see that's what the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place drivers are doing, working up on the high side. And they're up on the outside of McCoy in the 116. Mike Garvey, car number 91, in 3rd. Mario Gosselin running 4th in car number 10. And they are about, I would say 10 car lengths behind the leaders as Dick Anderson, he's got some damage on the right front, and he goes a lap down.
Well, we didn't expect to see Anderson go a lap down
And
this
we've
quick.
got trouble on the front straightaway.
Scott
Hansen and John Crow tangling up on the front stretch as the caution flag came out, and you saw the damage to Anderson's car as well. So several of our top competitors having troubles here on the home straightaway. John Crow currently 5th in the Hooters Cup point standings, spinning with Scott Hansen in the 53 car, and we'll be back to sort it all out. We'll take a quick break and be right back here at Toledo Speedway in Toledo, Ohio for the running of the RC Cola 200. So stay right where you're at. We'll be right back and see what happened.